Hi everyone, Jennifer Blevins-Smith with Integral Clinic Solutions, and you're watching my YouTube channel, Navigating the Business of Medicine. Today is a revenue cycle video, and I want to talk about accounts receivable or AR and where your targets should be percentage-wise on what is outstanding in your practice. If you have been in medicine at all and been in some kind of capacity, whether you're a manager in billing and coding, you're an owner, it should sound familiar about your AR and your aging AR, which AR is your accounts receivable. It's money that is owed to you. And in a practice, that's either owed to you by an insurance company or it's owed to you by a patient for services rendered for a patient, okay? So when you are a new practice or an infancy practice, a practice that just opened and you're trying to focus on all the other moving parts, you kind of put this out of sight, out of mind, because everything is very fresh. You're just focusing on trying to get claims out the door, get paid, get your overheads covered, and all of the other operations, situations, inventory, ordering, stuff like that. What happens is if you're not mindful about your AR, it ends up sneaking up on you if you don't have someone monitoring it closely, even from the beginning, and it could end up becoming quite a big mess quite fast, and it snowballs. A lot of practices, if they are focusing on their AR, they are focusing on their insurance AR, right? The money owed from the insurance company, which does make sense because the insurance companies will be owing you money for services rendered to their beneficiaries, and that totally makes sense. What part of AR a lot of practices end up neglecting or taking for granted is the patient AR. Patients can often owe you more money or as much money as an insurance company as a whole. And that's because of the patient cost shares of deductibles and co-insurances. Patients, and there's a lot of statistics out there, I'm not just making this up, but patients are very bad at prioritizing the payment of their medical bills. It's very widely known, and it is always a stress in a practice, especially a private practice, on trying to figure out ways for patients to pay their bills. And it's also known that the older their bill is, like the longer it goes unpaid, the less likely you are statistically to receive the money owed to you, and they're going to be sent to collections. Unfortunately, this is the reality of the situation. So if you don't have someone dedicated to making sure that they are watching this AR, not only for insurances, but also patients from day one of starting to bill services to insurance companies, then you could get in a very big mess very quickly. I always like to look at AR, and most other people do too, in buckets, right? So in time frame buckets. The 0 to 30 bucket is going to be where most of your outstanding accounts receivable funds should be. This should be the bulk of your money, should be in 0 to 30 because you've submitted those claims, hopefully, and you're waiting on the insurance company to process. Most insurance companies will process in 30 days or less. So if you have outstanding claims older than 35, 40 days, you should have someone that is dedicated and regularly monitoring those claims, timing those, following up on them if they start aging to 35, 40 days to find out what's going on, calling the insurance company, giving them the claim number, asking them why there's a delay. Sometimes you'll identify things that you have control over that you can prevent next time and fix it and make sure things go out cleanly. Other times it might be a credentialing or a contracting issue that you need to fix as soon as possible. Other things might just be the insurance's delay at processing claims. It definitely happens, but you wouldn't know unless you have somebody calling on these and understanding that. So if there are any issues that you can have control over and correct upstream, then you can get get that done as soon as possible to prevent higher aging claims in those older buckets. The next bucket is usually the 31 to 60. These are the ones people should be actively working, figuring out why they're taking so long to process. They're usually still initial claims, right? Things that have just been sent out one time and you're waiting for the initial response from the insurance company. Then you will get your 61 to 90. Those are ones that may have been resubmitted because there was something corrected or fixed or whatnot, and you're waiting for them to reprocess. And then when you start getting into that 90 plus day bucket, that's when you start having a lot of concern. Now there's some discrepancy for people on how much of the percentage of your outstanding AR should be over 90 days. I understand there's different things that can affect this depending on your specialty, your volume. There's a lot that can play into it. We could do a whole nother video about that. But personally, I prefer no more than 15-ish% to be aging over 90 days in your outstanding AR. And this is for insurance and patients, not just insurance. Some people say 18 to 22%. Again, depends on your situation, your volume, a lot of other factors. I like to try to keep it between 10 and 15% because hopefully you have people working the less than 90-day buckets, figuring out what the heck is going on so you can fix it as soon as possible, find a remedy to prevent it, and get it going. There has to be some kind of structured way for someone to be held accountable and to be regularly working this, communicating to the powers that be, whether it's the owner, the manager, whomever, to say what they're finding to make sure that everybody's in the loop and preventing anything that can be prevented. Again, patient AR is very important, and a lot of people end up focusing on insurance and not patient, but especially nowadays with insurance plans that people take to make it affordable for them, they have a very high deductible plan, which means that they have to pay to you the money owed before the insurance will pay anything. And that is what is causing a lot of people to have a lot of patient AR, and then they're not paying attention to it, it's aging, etc. One of my biggest questions I ask clients is, what is your internal workflow for patient collections? That doesn't necessarily mean a formal sending to collections company, although that can be part of your process, but what is your actual collection patient process? At what point do you start sending them different letters or contact communication about their outstanding bills once you've sent so many statements, right? You know they're going to be getting regular statements, or hopefully they get regular statements every 28, 30 days. But at what point do you start taking additional actions and have somebody internally actually physically regularly working your patient collections process? I have other videos about this, please check them out. But if you don't have a very stringent and structured process for working patient outstanding monies, then you are doing yourself an in-service and you're not going to see that cash flow. Okay, so it's really important, even if you have a billing company, in my opinion, doing this for you, they should be giving you regular reports on what the percentage is in your AR buckets, why you have so much in those AR buckets, what they're doing to try to make it better, or what they've implemented or communicated to you to make it better. Also, if they're going to be working your patient collections and patient AR, what are they doing? What's their process? Are they keeping you in the loop regularly? Are they actually doing what they're saying they're supposed to be doing? Because that's a big catch that I have actually caught quite a few billing companies where they say they do all of this, but it's not as regular or regimented as you would expect it to be. And by the time you ask those specific questions, it's out of control and you're backpedaling trying to get that money. It's very important as a provider, an owner, a manager, that you stay on top of whomever is responsible for these tasks, working insurance AR and patient AR, so that you can get that money. Especially as a small private practice owner, this is often overlooked, or someone tries to implement something once it's kind of out of control, and it makes it very difficult to catch back up. So knowing about this, putting the processes in place from day one is only going to benefit you. Again, you should have targets of how much of your percentage outstanding AR should be in each bucket. And you should be, as a provider, owner, manager, running these reports regularly to monitor to see how things are going. Ask the questions if people aren't coming to you that are responsible for working it, so that it doesn't bite you in the long run. If you have any questions or comments about this, I would love to speak with you, so please leave that in the comments below. Smash the thumbs up button if today's video was helpful. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And please share this video with your colleagues whom you feel it would benefit. Thank you so much. Take care of yourself. Bye-bye.